Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of the most epic love stories ever told, but it's probably not one you've heard in a rom-com. This story has a powerful king, a secret identity, a villain straight out of a blockbuster movie, and a queen who risked everything for her people. Get ready for the incredible story of Esther. Our story kicks off in the ancient Persian Empire, ruled by the mighty king Ahasuerus, or Xerxes as some historians call him. This king was known for throwing extravagant parties, and we're talking legendary, 180-day-long festivals. During one of these massive feasts, he gets into a bit of a tiff with his queen, Vashti. He summons her to show off her beauty to his guests, but she refuses. Publicly defied, the king is furious and, on the advice of his counselors, he deposes Queen Vashti. So, the search for a new queen begins. Messengers are sent to every corner of the vast empire to find the most beautiful young women. And this is where we meet our heroine. Her name is Hadassah, but she goes by Esther. She's an orphan, raised by her older cousin, Mordecai. It was a dangerous time, and revealing her identity could put her in grave peril. She's not just stunningly beautiful, she's also incredibly kind, graceful, and intelligent. She quickly wins the favor of everyone she meets, including Haggai, the king's eunuch in charge of the women. When it's finally her turn to meet King Ahasuerus, he is completely captivated. Out of all the women, he chooses Esther to be his new queen. He places the royal crown on her head and throws a huge banquet in her honor. And all this time, no one knows she is Jewish. Meanwhile, a wicked and arrogant man named Haman rises to power, becoming the king's second-in-command. The king commands everyone to bow down to Haman, but Mordecai, being a devout Jew, refuses to bow to anyone but God. This infuriates Haman. His wounded pride and deep-seated hatred for Mordecai's people lead him to devise a monstrous plan. He goes to the king and manipulates him, claiming there is a certain group of people scattered throughout the kingdom who do and follow the king's laws. He persuades the king to issue a decree to annihilate all the Jewish people in the empire on a specific day. The king, unaware of his wife's connection, agrees and seals the decree with his ring. When Mordecai learns of the decree, he is devastated. He tears his clothes and covers himself in sackcloth and ashes, a sign of deep mourning. He sends a message to Esther, telling her about the plot and urging her to go to the king to plead for her people. But this was a terrifying request. No one, not even the queen, could approach the king uninvited. The punishment for doing so was death, unless the king held out his golden scepter. Esther is terrified. She reminds Mordecai of the law, but he sends back a powerful message. Do not think that because you are in the king's house, you alone of all the Jews will escape. For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance will arise for the Jews from another place, but you and your father's family will perish. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this. Those words hit Esther hard. She realizes this is her moment, her purpose. She makes a brave decision. She tells Mordecai to gather all the Jews in the city to fast and pray for her for 3 days, and she and her maids would do the same. Then, she says, I will go to the king, even though it is against the law, and if I perish, I perish. After 3 days of fasting, Esther puts on her royal robes and stands in the inner court of the king's palace. When the king sees her, he is not angry. Instead, he is moved and holds out his golden scepter. He asks her what she wants, offering her up to half his kingdom. But Esther has a plan. She simply invites the king and Haman to a banquet she has prepared. She once more deflects, inviting them to a second banquet the next day. Haman leaves the first banquet feeling proud, but his mood sours when he sees Mordecai still refusing to bow. He goes home and, at his wife's suggestion, builds a massive gallows, planning to ask the king the next morning to have Mordecai executed on it. That night, the king can't sleep. He asks for the royal records to be read to him, and discovers an entry about how Mordecai had once uncovered a plot to assassinate him, saving the king's life. The king asks, what honor and recognition has Mordecai received for this? His servants reply, nothing has been done for him. Just then, Haman arrives at the court, ready to ask for Mordecai's execution. Before he can speak, the king asks him, What should be done for the man the king delights to honor? Haman, thinking the king means him, suggests a lavish ceremony. Dress the man in the king's own robes, place him on the king's horse, and have a noble prince lead him through the city streets proclaiming, "This is what is done for the man the king delights to honor." The king loves the idea and commands Haman, "Go at once. Get the robe and the horse and do just as you have suggested for Mordecai the Jew." You can just imagine Haman's humiliation as he is forced to publicly honor the very man he planned to destroy. Later, at the second banquet, the king once again asks Esther for her request. This time, she's ready. She says, "If I have found favor with you, your majesty, and if it pleases you, grant me my life, this is my petition, and spare my people, this is my request, for I and my people have been sold to be destroyed, killed, and annihilated." The king is shocked. Who is he? Where is the man who has dared to do such a thing? And Esther declares, "An adversary and enemy." This vile Haman, the king explodes in rage. In a swift turn of events, Haman is arrested, and in a moment of perfect irony, the king orders that Haman be executed on the very gallows he had built for Mordecai. But the danger isn't over. The king's decree to destroy the Jews still stands and cannot be revoked. So, the king gives Esther and Mordecai his seal and empowers them to write a new decree.